Good YouTube, Quinn Wade coming to y'all with that NBA news. I know I'm a little late on this one. I've been busy, but I got to it for y'all. The Clippers are trading PJ Tucker, Mo Bamba, a second round pick to the Jazz for Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills. And this is a trade. You see a couple of veterans going for a couple of veterans. Kind of surprised that they added a second round pick in there. The Jazz had the option of swapping second round picks in 2030 with the Clippers due to the Russell Westbrook trade. Now they own both picks currently because of this trade. Tucker has been away from the Clippers since the start of the season by mutual consent. We knew that was the case. We knew that they wanted him gone and he didn't want to play for them. Tucker is older. I don't look at him as a high impact player or a difference maker anymore. His 3-point shooting fell off a little bit. His defense has fallen off a little bit. He's on, to me, a level where he's borderline retired already. This can't be one of your top 8 players anymore. And you can say the same thing about Mo Bamba. He's long, he's athletic, but not the greatest rebounder, not the greatest scorer, not the greatest defender, even though he has the skills and the tools to be good on both ends of the court. He just never materialized into that type of player. And, Drew and Patty, they just give you guys that can space the floor a little bit for their position, but I don't really see Drew getting a lot of playing time or Patty. Patty has just been a bench warmer the last couple of years, and Drew, to me, is really no difference for a team like the Clippers. Unless an injury come, maybe he can come in and play 10 to 15 minutes, and Patty too. But when you're trying to play playoff level basketball, nobody in this trade is actually going to be playing, in my personal opinion, just based off how they played in their previous stops. But the Clippers are now $4 million below the tax. That's why they had to add that pick. Because if you're going to take those 2 contracts on and most likely waive those guys, in my personal opinion, and if they don't, they're not going to really contribute that much. A second round pick to help y'all save $4 million kind of make it worth it for Utah to do that. They also have created a $6.5 million and $2.1 million trade exception. That's big, just in case they find a guy that they like, that they want to bring in. It makes sense for them to have the option to be able to do that now. So the second round picks makes a lot more sense because of that. But when I look at this trade, I just look at it like, well, none of these guys are moving the needle for either team or another team. I mean, anytime you tell a guy just go home and everything will work itself out and work his way out, that just lets you know that nobody's really prioritizing these players in general. Like, we know they've been around. We know what they can do when they're playing their best. You're just not going to get their best enough to warrant minutes. And some of these guys are just third string players at this point. And it's still good because most people still want to be in the NBA. Most people still want to play in the NBA and get paid millions. That's the American dream, ain't it? But these guys are not really that good at this point of their careers. So it's a trade that makes sense for the Clippers. They're still in the hunt to improve their roster as much as they can as they try to lock up the top 6 seed in the Western Conference, which they have a chance to do. And these 2 guys, PJ and them, wasn't helping that. Even when they got on the court, PJ didn't, but Mo Bamba did. He wasn't really doing nothing. He was just basically playing in garbage time. I just look at this as, let's get rid of these guys too, and we just going to trade for a guy that can fit what we're trying to do down the line. And he most likely going to be on the same level as a second round pick when it comes to role playing on this team, because the Clippers actually are 9-10 deep. It doesn't seem like that, but they are. And with Kawhi Leonard being healthy, it obviously allows them to play the game that way. And I like what I'm seeing with what they're doing. Like, the Clippers are doing a lot of things right, and they're making the right moves. It's just, what is they really going to be 2 years from now? James Harden, Norman Powell, and Kawhi Leonard, that's not even really a win-now team either. Now, a lot of people have been doubting the Clippers throughout this season, but the goal is, when you have a team like this, is to win a title. I don't see this team winning a championship. I don't even believe the Clippers believe that they can win a championship this year. And now you're just holding on for glory at this point. Like, is nothing this roster can really do to move up into the upper echelons of the NBA to be looked at as a serious contender. I feel like the Clippers window was closed 2 years ago, and they had the best run they can have was getting Russ and Harden and Paul George to go with Kawhi Leonard and Zubac. And that team was a flop because they didn't play well even in the playoffs, and Kawhi Leonard couldn't stay healthy. And even if Kawhi Leonard stayed healthy, they had a better chance, obviously, of winning. But that's the problem with this team is like your best player is not really ever available. He's really good when he is, but one great player X's out the other great player, and then it evens out as who's the role player that's going to step up. Their role players didn't really step up enough to make that much of a difference for them to be able to win, and then your best player is out on top of that. The Clippers been done. I don't know where Kawhi Leonard goes from here. Do he just want to be a service player that I don't really have too many things going on in my life, and I still love the game of basketball. I'm going to continue to put in the work to be able to give my best performances, and I want to do it with the Clippers, or I'm just going to go to another team like Paul George did. He's old, so he's getting minor injuries more. He's not healing the same, and he's not looking the same. Even what he was with the Clippers, Paul George was one of the best wings, but he also went down in the pecking order, and he also went down as a player. And this year is just another year of him getting older, and he doesn't look good. And Kawhi Leonard didn't come back until January, and basically looking at it like if you're going to have this type of team, you're also going to be good. Y'all going to be a tough out if you stay healthy, but nobody really believes you can win it all in the Western Conference, let alone getting to the NBA Finals. And that's crazy how the Clippers went from being the team everybody thought can beat the Lakers or was on the same level as the Lakers to the point where they didn't even play the Lakers, and then they haven't even got back to the conference finals. I think the last time they went to the conference finals was against Phoenix, and Kawhi Leonard wasn't even healthy because they had to beat the Jazz to get there. And that was an upset, but they still didn't get it done. So the Clippers, they shouldn't probably have gave James Harden an extension because they should have just went into rebuild mode. You shouldn't be waiting for Kawhi Leonard to save your franchise when he can't stay healthy. And even if he can, it's just he's a little too old and not as dominant as he used to be. That was 4 or 5 years ago. That's a lot of time that has went by. And I'm surprised they still have that in the back of our mind that we'd rather have veterans than go in a different direction for the next 10 years. And it's just crazy that they still trying to find a way to fill out this roster and play these games like they actually can still win it all. They need to wake up and smell the coffee, man. This Clipper team had their opportunity. If I had to go back and do it again, I would still say I want Kawhi Leonard. I want Paul George because Paul George was playing at a crazy level in Oklahoma City before he was traded, and Kawhi Leonard was fresh off a Finals MVP. If you tell me that you can get both of those guys with Lou, with Montrezl, with Patrick Beverly, and you have a good coach, I'm taking that chance. I'm not saying it was wrong for doing it. It didn't work out that way. But if you have a chance to get one of the top 5 best players in the world and a top 20 player in Paul George, and they both two-way players for their position, and you already got a starting level center that can set screens and get to the basket and finish and be a decent free throw shooter, you taking that opportunity. They wasn't wrong for their decision, it just didn't work out. And not every team that makes a big splash works out. It's just how the NBA goes. And it just didn't go their way, and it's unfortunate and it's sad, but that's the reality of it. But this trade, I had to cover it. It doesn't change much. It doesn't do much. Some people are going to say, well, Quinn, you got to watch what you say because that second round pick. I mean, you can get something good, but then again, that $4 million trade exception, and that they're $4 million below the tax, and that $6.5 million exception and the 2.1, that can turn into a really good player. I just feel like they're trying to go in for that last move to try to increase their chances of being good in the playoffs. They just need to let it go. Like adding James Harden and Russell Westbrook was like that last domino of let's get some guys we know that can do the job. Let's get some jobs that fills positions that we need to be filled. and we still believe that our duo in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George is still one of the best in the league, and we're basically a top 6 seed even this year in the regular season. Let's throw all of our dice, make sure our guys is healthy when the playoffs start, and see what happens. It blew up in their face. They should have just let it go instead of re-signing James Harden and just went in a totally different direction. I know that Kawhi Leonard wants to play with the Clippers. I know that this is the place he wants to be. This is one of the decisions that he made coming to LA. I don't want to play with LeBron or AD. I want to lead a team to a championship like I just did the season prior. I already beat LeBron in the NBA Finals when I was a Spur. I know how to do it. I know how to guard him. I know how to play him. I'm just as clutch and I'm just as good as this guy. And I was at Kawhi Leonard if you're healthy, yeah. And Paul George is a good sidekick. I'm not going to lie about that. But they should let this thing go. And I can't believe they gave James Harden 2 years. Yes, he's good. Yes, he's an all-star. But if you ain't winning no championship, this is all a waste of time. And even though you do make some good moves to put yourself in a good position, you better off just trying to see what you can get for these guys and just go all in on rebuilding. It's hard to do it this year because of their record, and that's not what they was trying to do coming into the season. They still filling seats. They still getting watched on TV because of Harden and Norman and Kawhi and Zubac. They have been good, but they're not championship level good anymore. I like what I've been seeing from other teams. It's the end of this era. We have a new generation of players. We have more coming. We just have to accept that our favorite players that we grew up watching in our 30s and in our 20s are not those guys anymore. They're not hymns anymore. They're going to be the second fiddle guy or the third string guy now trying to help somebody else win a championship. They're not good enough to lead the team to a title anymore. And no matter how much the Clippers try to maneuver with all these loopholes and stuff like that to still give them that extra move that they can make, is not going to be enough to win. The only people that believe that they can win with Kawhi Leonard is the Clipper fans. And like I said, they're not even all 100% in on that. The Intuit Dome needs to have a show. They need to have something worth watching. And this team is that. They still can defeat you. They still can beat you. They still worthy opponents. But it's supposed to be winning a championship with Kawhi Leonard. They brought Kawhi Leonard to LA so that they can win a championship with the Clippers organization. Those dreams, those goals are now not reality anymore. And I know Kawhi Leonard. I'm a mentor for Kawhi Leonard, literally. I love the guy. But if you still have to be real about it, those injuries were so deadly and detrimental to his career, especially with the timing of some of them, that there's nothing you can do besides part of the game. Unfortunately, just injuries are part of basketball, and they just came at the wrong time, and they ended some of the chances of him being able to get another one. But we all go through our injuries, even if we're not in the NBA, and we accept that that's part of the league because we love the game of basketball. But this trade, people didn't really talk much about it. They didn't really have much to say about it because it doesn't really change anything at all to me. But the Clippers can make another move, and that's always something that the fans want to see who they can get, and that just keep the people talking, keep the people excited, and the Clippers playing good enough to add a piece that people can look at it like, why not go all in for another year? I mean, you gave Kawhi Leonard the extension, kind of have to just ride that out until you can either trade him or his contract is over. And this is as good as it gets. And like I said, it's still a good team, just not a great one. Comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis. And if you're new to the channel, I make conversation videos just like this in different varieties. I also do breakdowns with real footage of legends, current legends, rookies, and future stars, mock draft and draft coverage too. Thank y'all for watching the videos and appreciating them for what they are. Thanks for putting them in your rotation throughout the weeks, the days, the month, and the years. Hopefully I'll see you guys later with more analysis. This is a busy time of the year for us, just like free agency. We got to do the games. We have to do the trades. We have to continue to put out different type of variety of content. I've been doing it for 10 plus years, so I get it. But I got to cover it because my fans want to know what I think on basically every topic of the NBA. It doesn't sound enthusiastic, doesn't sound excited. is not a great trade. It's just something that they have to do to keep their hopes alive that things can go their way and they can possibly win the championship. It happened in NBA history before. Is a chance that you could, depending on the matchups, depending on the rounds, depending on how things go. Remember Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant got injured in the NBA Finals, and then they got it done in Toronto. You play it out. This is my hand. I'm stuck with it. I'm gonna have to figure out how to maneuver with it, and I'm gonna have to play it out to see where I can get with it. And sometimes you hit the jackpot, and that's how it goes. Like the Clippers didn't think Kawhi Leonard was going to come, and then he comes in free agency, and they didn't think they was gonna get Paul George until it happened. And you just have to play out that hand that was dealt and see what you can do. Life give you lemon, make lemonade, and that's what the Clippers are doing. I respect it. They ain't giving up. You know, they're a little stubborn, and you probably don't want to give it up and just get fleeced either. But they kind of did that with OKC. Now that we look back at it, but OKC did win a championship, but they're in a good position to possibly win one. But that just shows you how hard it is to win an NBA championship in general. Kawhi has done it twice. You know what I mean? I was a part of that. So I know how hard it is to do it. And that just shows you, man, it's a tough business. And it's just a tough, job to do. To come out and sacrifice your body and try to play at the highest level each and every game. It's something serious, but they sign up for it. They're prepared for it. They understand the costs and the things that can help you even down the line that can hurt you too. So it is what it is. But this trade, it just for minor moves is not going to change a drastically entire team, even that second round pick, even the trade exceptions. They just minor moves that ain't going to really affect the teams. I know you can tell me some second round picks that really made a big difference for championship teams. I mean, you can do the same thing with a trade exception. You really can. You can flip it into a player that fits in the role the right way and play well off your stars. And it can be a PJ Washington or something. And, it can be a Rasheed Wallace or something. You just never know what you can get or what you can use it for to make more sense in the future. You just got to make this move now and just figure out the rest later. That is how it goes. But I'm going for now. Y'all enjoy your day. I'll be back with more analysis, though.